Hey guys, thanks so much for listening to our podcast. If you could please follow us on Instagram at ENG Podcast and tag a friend, that'd be great. And if you haven't already, please rate and review us on iTunes. Today's episode of the ENG Podcast is sponsored by our good friends at Clothing by Owl. All you Bachelor fans will recognize this name as they are the company behind the hugely popular Wine Bachelor and Yoga Pants tank top. What you may not know is that they give back a percentage of every item sold to animal rescue, and that notable Bachelor alums like JoJo Fletcher, Caitlin Bristow, Lauren Bushnell, Ben Higgins, and Nick Vale are all huge supporters. We're happy to offer our listeners 20% off when you visit clothingbyowl.com. Simply add the discount code ENG, that's EANDG, to save on all your Bachelor gear. And be sure to follow them on social media at Clothing by Owl.
Jeff and I are doggy dads, which is why we're so excited to be partnering with our newest sponsor, Puppies Make Me Happy. They have a super simple mission, to make the happiest clothes on earth, which they do. And we know our listeners will love this brand just as much as we do. Plus, we're excited to help spread a little happiness ourselves by offering listeners 20% off all merchandise by using discount code ENG. That's EANDG at checkout. Make sure to follow them on Instagram at Puppies Make Me Happy.
Welcome to another episode of the ENG Podcast. Special interview edition with Shushanna.
We did never ask her how to pronounce her last name properly, so we're not even going to go after that.
What is her last name? I don't even know what it is.
It's very challenging. I'm not even going to try. It's going to be too much. But Shushanna was awesome, man. I mean, she was great. There was a little bit of drama more so recently in Bachelor in Paradise, of course, with her exit, her relationship with Wells. And we dove into kind of how it was portrayed versus what actually happened, which is, as you know, Jeff, always two different things.
Definitely some editing, not like Leah's editing where they took stuff she said on another show and put it on, but definitely some moving stuff around to look like it happened in this order instead of the actual order it was in. So that was interesting. We got her take on Ashley I, calling her Euro trash. That could have gone one of two ways. She could have been like, oh, whatever, people say things, or she could have talked about it a lot, which she did.
Which is good, though. I mean, she was able to provide a lot of insights and some stuff that we had never heard before in regards to some other people that have been on the show. And then also just her own unique experience getting on the show. And Shushanna really, she's just like a genuine person. So her whole thing was like, even with Ben, you know, I wasn't feeling it. And so it was time to go. And she kind of had the same thing to say about Wells. Of course, there's much more detail behind that, but that was the gist. So she's a genuine person. She seemed very real. And it was cool just getting her perspective, man. I think each time we talk to someone, you learn a little bit more about the show, the producers, kind of some of the behind the scenes and what they ask these guys to do. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun because some people are definitely not willing to say anything. Some people are willing to say a little, and other people are willing to say a little in another way. So we're just piecing together everything.
And we need our listeners on the case here as well, because one of the things Shushanna talks about is in between Ben's season and Bachelor in Paradise, she was in a relationship, which we got out of her on this episode, happened to be with someone from the Bachelor universe. So we need to get to the bottom of this.
And
right?
I texted one of our former guests. I will not say who because he or she said not to say. Oh, I covered that one up. But this person, I talked to them after we got off the interview as well, and they're pretty certain they're correct. But Shushanna would not give on anything, so.
That's all right.
That's definitely something she would not talk about, which is fine.
Which is fine. That was like one of the only things she wouldn't talk about too. Otherwise, everything else was out there on the table. She was an open book, and that was a lot of fun, man. I had a good time doing that interview. I know the listeners will love it too.
Yep. So here it goes. Shushanna something. We don't know her last name.
I'm here.
There she is. Oh no, she went video. Oh, it's going to be a fun big file. Shushanna, welcome.
Hi.
Thanks for doing the podcast. This is Jeff. Ian is also here.
What's up, Shushanna? How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Good. Well, thank you for joining us. We're going to kind of jump around a little bit, but the first thing I wanted to ask you about is you obviously were introduced to everybody during Ben's season of The Bachelor. And one question that I've been wanting to ask you since your introduction was, in terms of you going out there and speaking another language, was that your idea? Was that producer intervention? And we have to ask because we've had a number of folks on the podcast at this point, right? Most recently, we were chatting with Luke, and they have all kind of said the same thing, that the producers are involved in this process. And so was that something that you were doing, or did they kind of encourage you to go that route?
To be honest, it was 100% coming from me. And, it's just like speaking Russian, it's like part of me, right? It's my first language. So I definitely wanted to do something that would kind of show right away, like where I'm coming from and what makes me comfortable. And yeah, no, there was no producers involved in that. And it was my personal decision.
Perfect. And you are Russian. Are you Russian or are you Albanian? I think
I'm not Albanian. I don't know where is that coming from. I'm Armenian. Not like Kardashians, though.
Okay.
I'm Armenian, 100%. I was just raised in Russia. I moved there when I was 12. And, Armenia used to be part of Soviet Union, and there's some other countries. So Russian is basically my first language. I graduated high school in Russian and a university, and so yeah, but I speak Armenian as well.
Shushanna, is your last name, does it end in IAN or YAN? Or does it not? Is it neither?
It's YAN, and it's the correct way, actually.
Oh, I have an Armenian friend who told me once YAN. You got to watch out for the YANs.
Yes, YAN. IAN, I think it's kind of, I would say, more Americanized already.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know, like the people that were born here, they will probably spell it with IAN, but the people that actually moved from different country and then Armenians, they usually spell it with YAN.
He told me the YANs. This is the interesting thing about this guy. He was Armenian, like full Armenian, but his name didn't end in IAN or YAN. But he told me YAN means you're connected to Russian mafia. So...
Oh, no. Again. Oh,
are you in the Russian mafia, or do you know the
absolutely.
Russian mafia?
Always, 100%.
All right. Just want to make sure that guy was right.
And Shushanna, too, just sticking with your background for a second, I felt like, again, on Ben's season, they were trying to portray you in a certain way, but in reality, you're a mathematician, right? Like, what do you do for your career? Is that what you got your degree in?
Okay, so I was kind of laughing at that too, because like watching like how they put occupation twins, or
totally.
there was like a few different. I am not, but I am on my way to become one day, so it's taken time. So I'm only 28. I barely moved to here, I mean, not barely, it's been already 8 years, but I started all over. And it was their decision to put a mathematician. I don't know why. Maybe it just looked fancier, but I'll take it. Why not?
Exactly. It's one of those things that we always joke about, though, because they can kind of, they can craft your persona on the show, but especially with titles, right? So even Robbie was a former competitive swimmer, and like all these things. It's like, that's not what he does. Like, that's not his career right now. So exactly. It's always kind of funny. What was your take on Ben, and what was your experience prior to being on Ben's season with the Bachelor franchise? Like, when did you start watching it?
I never watched. You mean like before in general?
Yeah, like how were you introduced to the show?
It was just a kind of a long story, but not really. To be honest, I never watched the show before. I just kind of have an idea what it was. It was just this thing that popped out, and my friends was like, you should do it. I'm like, I'm not sure. And that one friend is taking me to the park to do the video, and another friend already taking me to for the casting, and it's just and next day I wake up and I'm already there. So it's just like everything kind of went so fast, but I don't think I emotionally or even physically was ready for that. I just started the new semester and I was taking really two difficult classes and I had to drop that, and just being around the girls, which is fine. It wasn't really tough for me. I felt like I was the mother of the house, like making food for everyone, and it's just trying to tell them where like who didn't clean the kitchen, who left the cup outside, or certain things. It's just, I don't know. Just like thinking back, it was like I felt like it was just yesterday, but it's been almost a year.
It's pretty crazy. Time flies.
I know.
So you were a little bit of a mama bear in the house. What was your connection like with Ben? Because we always see one side to Ben and kind of what he puts out there now, of course, after the show as well. But did you guys have a good connection? What did you feel like he was like when you were on the show?
Like on the first night, we obviously they didn't show that. We had a conversation. It was so great. But at some point, that's when I understood like that I don't really want to continue being there, and it was just perfect the way I left. But it was the first night when we were talking, and I was just telling kind of a short story how I ended up being in the United States. Literally word to word, he said, he's like, "Who are you? Like you want to do all these things in your life." Then we also a little bit talked about traveling. Like he would never wanted to move anywhere. He feels really comfortable being in here. And for me, traveling is like part of, it's actually it's the number one thing for me. Like I don't think I can live with someone who doesn't want, I mean, he said he's okay, like traveling, but I'm thinking about something like maybe moving in 2 years to England or to Germany, like just experiencing new life, and just having those little conversations. Like I kind of felt from my side too that I don't think I'm a right person for him, and I kind of could feel that from him as well. And also, like, I think after week 1, you could already tell, like, he was so far away with the like, with other girls. And I felt like I was trying to catch up,
Right.
Totally.
Were there any girls in the house that just before Paradise and all that, and before you were, like, fully in the whole Bachelor Nation thing, just when you were there on The Bachelor, were there any girls that you really hit it off with as friends? And were there some girls that you kind of were like, oh, she's a little bitchy or a little catty, I don't like her? Any of that?
A lot of people were, after like Women Tell All, a lot of people call me bully, and which was kind of painful because I've been, I went through personally living in Russia and being Armenian, and I know how it feels. And I don't think it was the right thing to tell that I was one of those people towards Jubilee, which actually Jubilee and I were sharing kind of one bad, those, and I give her like a few things, like when she went on a date, and we were kind of friends in the beginning. Well, I can't tell friends, but we got along pretty well. She was supportive, and I felt like I was supportive towards her. But at the same time, I felt like after like a week later, I don't know, it was just like nothing. There was nothing that I could be friends with her. Like no matter how much I tried, it was not working out. So other than that, I don't think there was anyone else in the house that, I didn't have a good connection, like just talking or just sharing with the life stories or anything. But who I really got close with on the show, it was Kayla. Who else? Jamie. Just trying to kind of think. I think I was pretty good, like with everyone. It wasn't really hard for me to talk to people. My second job as a bartender, I'm a bartender, so it's pretty easy for me to talk to people.
Right. Was there? Who did you like? Which girls did you kind of stay in touch with the most after you left the show?
LB, she was the one who actually left pretty early. Jamie, Jennifer, Lauren H. Those are, I will say, my top number one girls. Kayla, sometimes we really talk. I mean, we have both really pretty busy lives, and I understand it's impossible sometimes just like, be friends when especially you live in different states.
What do you think about Kayla and Jared? Because there's a lot of controversy, not to pivot all the way into Bachelor in Paradise maybe, but there's a lot of controversy. Was Kayla Ashley I says Kayla was saying on set she doesn't really like Jared, but she's just kind of doing it for TV. And then we've heard from other people who know Kayla, we talked to, that we've interviewed, that say, no, Kayla's super classy and, they don't think so. And then we've talked to another person who said, I wasn't there, but that's what I heard, that she did say she didn't like Jared. So what do you know about all that?
So as far as I know, Kayla, she didn't know Jared before the show. So sometimes you can think of, oh my gosh, there's no way I can be with this person. Like, just taken in general, real life, I know, like, I've seen pictures of some people of, and everyone's like, hey, Shu, like, this guy is so cute. I'm like, oh, I don't think so. Oh no, there's no way. I would never look at him. And then you meet that person in real life, and you just share, you like just talk about something and you're like, wait, I can't believe it. Like, this is so easy. There's no way, I just said that it's not going to happen and this has just happened. So I feel like maybe that's what exactly happened. So they were friends. I don't know if they're still friends or not, Ashley, I, and Kayla. I know they had a few trips together or something. Like, there were some pictures they were posting. And maybe they, like, knowing how much Ashley is crazy about Jared, so Kayla kind of said, you know what, yeah, there's no way. I mean, I know you have feelings towards him, so I'm not going to do this. But then end up being on the show, seeing that Jared is not even into Ashley I, she was like, why not? It's so easy to talk to him, and I'm just going to give it a try.
Totally. And one of the people that you mentioned as being a good friend was Jamie. And so we actually just had a chance to speak with Jamie the other week. She was awesome, and she let us in on some of the drama from Paradise, which we're definitely going to get to. But she was one of the people that said that Ashley I's remarks probably came from maybe a not so genuine place, or that we shouldn't believe everything that she's putting out there. Ashley also had some strong stuff to say about you. She had some choice words that she said to the camera. What was your reaction when you saw that played back?
It was really interesting, and I can joke about a lot of things. I love joking, but a lot of time I'm being sarcastic, but I'm going to be pretty serious right now. Even till this day, there's nothing negative I can really tell about her, besides that on Snapchats, like, the people that are following me, like, I put jokes about that me being a European trash or some other words that she said. Meeting Ashley it was actually my first time meeting her on Bachelor in Paradise. And we probably talked the most 5 minutes.
Okay.
And that conversation probably was like, oh, you're from band season, or what's your name? And this, like, there was nothing that she could actually look at me and say, oh, now I know what kind of person you are. She never got to know me. So whatever was coming out of her mouth was only, like, for me, the only explanation is jealousy. Like, why else would you say something like that when you don't know me?
Yeah, that's how it kind of seemed, yeah.
It came off that way, for sure.
And you know what is really funny is, like, as far as I know, Ashley is Spanish or Italian, something. I know she's not American. Like, at least her parents are not. So it's like telling me that I'm European trash. Like, girl, go back to high school. First of all, Spanish is not even in Europe. It's more Asia than Europe. And it's also, if you look at Spanish or Italy, it's like, I feel like it's more Europe than Russia. So maybe you're calling yourself European trash more than me. So it's, I know people attacked her on Twitter and on social media. So I didn't even have to protect myself. I know who I am. I know from what family I'm coming from. And I know the education that I have, and family and friends that love me, and they know the way I am. So I'm like, I don't even have to explain. She never took a really time to apologize, besides putting on the Twitter that it wasn't a lady kind to say such words. I never thought she's a lady. So even so, and the only thing that I didn't accept her apologies. The only thing that I could say it's just thank you.
Right. I was going to ask, there's just no, because you guys, you do these extra shows and you do these get together things like, she's never been like, hey, to your face or anything, or through text. I know a lot of you guys have each other's numbers and stuff. She never said, hey, like, that was immature of me to say that. She just did it on Twitter.
Yeah, only on Twitter. And it was actually because of I think Kayla and Ashley were on Alan's show. And there's something happened after. So Ashley was Kayla said something that on Twitter that, it wasn't really nice. And then Ashley said, oh, yes, it wasn't really nice. And then she included my name. And which was the most stupidest. I wish she wouldn't actually do that, because I didn't even want her to post somewhere online and to apologize. All she should have done is get my phone number from one of the producers and just text me and say, you know what, I'm really sorry. It was on national television. Because it is kind of embarrassing too. Like, I didn't care about other people as much as like my mom. And like, it is hurtful because, my mom is watching and thinking like, I raised my daughter. I put so much, time and everything, and some bitch, I'm sorry for my language, went on national television and saying such a words towards my daughter. It's like, that's
Totally.
the only thing that is hurting. And it's like, at least like just text me and say, I'm really sorry. I know you did not deserve that, unless she thinks that way, But at the same time, it's like, if you go all the way back, like, what are the reasons why she said that? It's because I went on a date with Wells. But who said yes when I asked Wells to go on a date?
Right.
It was Wells.
Yeah. I mean,
So
it was
maybe
just,
you should call a words, Wells, because your boyfriend, if you think he was your boyfriend, actually said yes to another girl.
yeah, it definitely, I mean, from what we saw, it did not seem like you did anything to deserve that. And honestly, just being American, I feel like when someone wants to put someone down from Europe, they'll just call them Euro trash. It's like, you know what I mean? Without any context, just, oh, she's European and I want to say something mean, so she's like Euro trash. Like it doesn't really make any sense. Not a lot of thought behind it. It's like kind of a dumb thing to say.
I had such a sweet comments on Twitter. People saying, if Eurotrash looks someone like Shushanna, then I want to be a Eurotrash. And you know what? I'm like, agreed. Absolutely. I'll take that. Like, you can call me whatever you want, because in the end, you're the one who actually definitely, like, she was right. She didn't look like a lady kind at all.
Totally. And Shoshana, just in general now, I mean, being on 2 shows, we've spoken with people like Leah Block, who I'm sure you know as well, who has some things to say about the portrayal, right, of like how the show has actually made her look to the viewing audience versus what actually happened. One of the examples she provided in Paradise was that there were conversations that they used from Ben's season on this most recent season of Bachelor in Paradise, to where they were just basically putting words in her mouth, right? What do you think was your portrayal? Like, how do you feel about it, right? Do you think that the producers in the show was fair in catching who you are as a person? Do you feel like there was a side of you that they did not show? How did you feel about that in general?
Yes and no. I think Leah just really had a really, really rough, hard time on the show, and it was the right thing for her to say such words, to protect herself. So starting with The Bachelor, it was, the first show, when the limo night, when they showed that I spoke only Russian, which wasn't true.
Yep.
I spoke English way more. And it was the time actually when Ben was passing by, like he was behind me, and I was talking to one of the producers while we were in the house, and he's like, you do speak English? And I'm like, yeah, duh, absolutely. It's like, why would I be here? It's like, there's no way. It was just, there was a lot of funny moments. It's like, obviously, like when you do interview, like producers would like, hey, say something like this in Russian, and I would do that. So just knowing that, and then I saw that that's what they put on the, they would say, oh, how you say, such a word. I'm like, nope, I'm not going to say it. Google it. That's not going to work this time.
Exactly. They're asking leading questions, right? Because they want to be able to get you saying something that they can then use as if like that was how you were actually responding to some of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's pretty interesting. Do you think in your experience too, from now being on 2 seasons, that most of the girls were there for the right reasons? We've spoken with a ton of guys and also a good amount of the women as well from past shows. But the guys, Jeff and I were both surprised, right? Like going into it, we assumed that, a lot of them might be there to further some of their celebrity and some of the things like that. But they've overwhelmingly been very genuine, very down to earth. They seem to be there for the right reasons. What was your experience with that? Did you feel like that most people were genuine that were on the show?
Are you talking about Bachelor in Paradise?
I'm talking about both because we're just trying to get a sense. I think that, again, a lot of folks that you see on the show, you can look at and say, yep, they're there because they ultimately do want to try to meet someone and have a relationship, maybe like a fairy tale type of experience. But then it's also suspicious a lot of times too, because then there's others where you're like, are they here for the right reasons? Are they trying to further their career maybe a little bit? What was your experience with like, was there anybody that stood out to you as maybe being fake or phony?
If we're talking about the Bachelor with Ben, to be honest, I feel like everyone was there for the right reason. Even after the show, we had this crazy group message of 15, 16 people included. And we single for life, ex-sister wives. And, there was so many crazy things that my phone sometimes will go crazy. There's 150 messages that I had to go through. And just in one group message. And that's what I felt like. No, everyone was there for the right reason. And even if someone had... people would say, oh, she broke up 2 months, 3 months before that. I mean, well, maybe there was a reason to break up. Maybe he wasn't good enough. It's people always blame someone for doing this and that for such a reason. It's you never know. If she really loved that person, then she would be with that person. If she wanted fame over over love, well, maybe that's a good thing for that guy, to see that, on the right time. So maybe she's actually, just helping him out. Yeah. So with the Bachelor in Paradise, ooh, that's really tough. But at the same time, it's I don't want to judge, but I can. I got there in literally it was 2-3 days before the show ended. So it was really tough. But I was really, really happy to see Amanda there. And, I know she actually snapped right before. She's like, I hope this worth it or something like that. And she sent a personal snap to some of the girls, including me. And just seeing her being engaged, end of the season, it was just amazing thing. Looking at Lace, right, going through all this, judging her. Everyone was judging her after the band season. And also, whatever happened on Women Tell All, it's just, she went through probably a lot, and just seeing her as well, being engaged, by the end of the season, it was amazing. Carly, I don't know those people. I know they're from previous seasons. I never watched before, so it's really hard for me to tell if they deserve it or not. She was kind of sweet on the show, but watching Bachelor in Paradise, the few words that she said towards me, I was I was kind of surprised. But then, who was that guy? I forgot his name. Gosh, he was kicked out.
Or no, the guy, no. Chad.
Chad, yes. I don't judge him. I can't even say, I don't think he was in the right place, to be honest. I don't think it was the right thing for him to go back and do that. I don't think he's ready for love. Maybe he is, but for a different type of love. I think he needs a really, really strong woman that, I don't know, combining Lace, me, I don't know, Kayla, there's this superpower woman that can handle someone like him. Totally. So I don't think he was there for the right reason. I think he was picked by the producers as well, just to add some, drama. Yeah, I think exactly. So.
how did the producers go about approaching you to be on Paradise? Like, what was that conversation like?
Well, they did offer, and at first I was obviously really, really thinking about it. And that time when they did offer, I broke up with the guy. We dated for about 2-3 months. It was like a long distance relationship. So it was really tough. I finally, after 3 years being single, I kind of gave a chance to myself, and I opened up, and it didn't work out. It did really hurt my feelings. So I don't think emotionally I was ready. But then when it got to that point, my mom was like, why you don't want to do it? What, you have nothing to lose. What if you are going to meet someone there? So, and I just, when it was time for me to go, I said yes.
Yeah, what do you have to lose? It's not like someone's going to call you Eurotrash on TV. No?
Oh my God, stop it.
What,
no, it's okay. Go ahead, do it.
That's pretty cool that your mom was very supportive. What was, before I ask my next question, what was dating like for you after being on The Bachelor? Because we like to ask people that too. I mean, I've been on TV and stuff and been on TV shows just because I'm a comedian, and I know as it is as a guy, but like for girls, it's got to be really weird. I'm sure did you get hit up by like a lot of creepy guys, and is it hard to vet who you want to date? Like the guy you just mentioned you dated for a few months, is that someone you knew from the past? Or, I mean, is it weird if someone hits on you and like at a bar or something and they know that you're the girl from The Bachelor? Okay,
let's start with this.
Okay.
I was getting hit by before, so just kidding.
No, of course you were, but I'm saying do you get guys that are like, hey, I saw you on The Bachelor, what's up? Did you get that?
No. It's so opposite. For me, it's so opposite, because I was just telling my mom after the show, it's so much harder. Like, people sometimes look at you. I'm like, I don't know if they look at me because I look bad or I look good or I look weird. Oh, because I'm the girl from the show. It's like all these questions because it's just that look. And I have so many questions in my head. I'm like, what does he want from me? So it is so much harder just to go out, be out. And it's not because like I get I feel famous or people know who I am. It's just, I feel like it's harder for me because there's some part of me already shown on social media, it's on TV right there. So everyone knows that, but there's some part that people don't know. And obviously someone who I want to date, I want them to see the way I am, apart from the show.
Right.
And it's really hard because, they've seen a lot of things already. So it's like they kind of have an idea who's Shushanna girl. So, but on this, like, what is it? I think it was on Instagram. I mean, there's so many creepy people, to be honest. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. That's what I'm asking about.
I have to tell you this story.
Go for it.
So there was this guy who snapped me. He would never show his face, and he will send me like some like a model pictures. And I was like, oh, where did you find me? Oh, I went through this. You were in Vegas, and I was just going through the pictures, and I was trying to see if this club posted a picture, and I saw a picture of you. Like all this bullshit, right? So I was like, oh, cool. And he's like, well, check out my name on Instagram. So I go to Instagram, and I found this guy and this handsome, beautiful model from Canada, like I was like, oh my gosh, look at this. I can't believe it,
it was
right?
Daniel, right?
What? No. No. So I kind of like go through the pictures, but there was like recently posted like a picture with his girlfriend, which was really weird. And I was like, hey, I'm like, can you actually message me from your Instagram? He's like, why? I was like, I just, like there's a lot of creepy people. I just want to know if you're one of them.
That's very smart, by the way. Very smart. Wow.
And he's like, well, you kind of hurting my feelings. Of course, it's me, blah, 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 and all this stupid stuff. So the next thing what I do, I go to Instagram and I text that guy, that model guy, whatever. I think his name is Jeff. I'll just give you a first name. I was like, hey, Jeff. So I have this guy who is pretending that it's him. So he's texting me through Snapchat, sending me all these pictures of you and this and that. If it's you, just let me know. And he even sent his personal phone number. So I'm like, is this your number? So that guy is texting back. He's like, hell no. Who is that? And all that stuff. And he was like so freaking out. I'm like, well, just let you know, someone is using your account and pretending it's you just so he can talk to me.
Oh, geez.
You got catfished, basically.
Yes.
So you dated that guy for 3 months, but it just didn't work out?
No.
Who was the guy you dated? You said you dated this guy in between Bachelor and Bachelor in Paradise. Was that someone that you met, or was it someone that you'd already known before the Bachelor stuff?
Someone that I met.
And how did that come about? Did he know you from the Bachelor?
Yeah.
Oh, is he a guy that was on one of the shows? Who was it?
Yeah.
Oh, Shushanna, come on. We're friends, we're friends with the whole nation.
He was from the show, but there's no way. No.
Can you give us what season he was from, Shushanna?
Oh, I never watched the show. How do I know what season?
Okay.
Well, who was he competing for?
All we need is first and last name. We don't want to pry.
All I can tell, he's absolutely amazing guy. He's very handsome. He's very talented, and I'm so lucky that I actually got to know him. But we're still, I can probably say we're still friends. We still talk sometimes. And, but it's just, I'm in Utah, he's in somewhere.
Oh, come on. Give us something, Shushanna.
I'll tell you. This is definitely going to help you. California.
California. Okay.
Oh,
okay.
all right.
So Nick Vile, next Bachelor. Okay.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Perfect. So
we'll get it out. I'm gonna text some people that we've had on the show and see if I can get this answer before the end of this interview. But moving on to Paradise, what? So you went on a date with Wells. Obviously, you saw on the show everybody seemed to go on a date with Wells. And was Wells someone that you were interested in when you went there? Were you thinking, oh, like I hope Wells is there, or who were you interested in seeing there? And what was the real attraction to Wells with you?
I didn't even think who is going to be there, and I don't know. I wish I could ask you guys that question, but it's like I think when you pass age 25, at least for me, when I passed 25, a lot of things change. When I look at the guy, I stop looking. I don't know how to explain it. It's like it's not anymore the way they look as much as like talking about and just knowing what they want from life. And I don't want a husband who's going to spend more time in front of a mirror than I do. And I do only 15 minutes. So it's like, there's no way, So that's why just going on going on the show, obviously I've been asked by producers, who do you want to see? And I said, I'm pretty much open for anything. I just went through this short type of relationship, didn't work out, so whatever. So when I went down there, obviously like everyone's like, well, this one is taken, this one is taken, this one is taken. But it wasn't just because, oh, this one is taken, you pick Wells and go with him. If I didn't like the guy, obviously I would say, you know what, there's no way. Like I can't do that. Or no, thank you, I'm not interested. I mean, we can go on a date, but I don't think like I want to really invite him, So, and seeing that it was Wells, he's such a great looking guy. So why not? And for me, it was like, I know I'm going to have a great time. I'm in Mexico and I've seen Wells, like maybe like a 1 or 2 episode. And he's a very attractive man. So, I think it was a good decision to pick him.
Is that your type? Like the more hipstery, boyish face, or is it more like you like bigger guys, like someone like Chase or Luke or something?
Bigger guys, probably. I like tall guys. I do. I'm obsessed with tall guys. I don't know why. I'm such a shorty, but it is what it is.
How tall are you?
5'2". I'm 5'2".
Okay. So we have to ask you too. You decided to go home prior to the rose ceremony, right, in Paradise. And it was mainly because, if I recall correctly, you just didn't want to be in a position where you were fighting for someone again, right? Like what you had gone through on The Bachelor. At least that was what kind of was put out there. Is that accurate? What was kind of behind the decision to go ahead and leave Paradise?
Yeah, I'm an adult. I don't want this. That's exactly what happened. Well, okay, I'm going to tell you something, and I don't care what other people or producers think. But the time when I left, it wasn't after when Wells went and kissed Ashley and Jamie. I left right before. So basically, the girls went and sat down and then waited for the guys. As soon as the guys arrived, there was the few things that happened, and I just said, you know what, I'm done. I'm over. So I grabbed I had a glass of wine in my hand. I grabbed it and I said, you know what, guys, it was such a great time. I was glad to meet you. I put my glass of wine on the table and I left. That's what it was. So then whatever happened, Wells kissing those girls, it was after when I left the show.
Gotcha. And that's just, I mean, again, speaks to the fact that they can piece together the storyline and the story that they want to tell. So it's very interesting. So did you go over? Yeah. Like, did you have a conversation with Wells? Like, hey, it was really fun getting to know you, but I'm not in this, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave. Like, how did that play out? Or did you just leave?
So, just going through it, that decision was kind of going through my mind all day. So I was like, you know what, I actually want to do it. All the girls, and I told the girls, and I actually told some of the producers too. I'm like, I'm going to leave, guys. Yeah, just stay. I don't think anyone believed that. But just being that day, I'm like, I can't do this. There's no way. I don't think so. It was only one day. I had so much fun. I kissed Wells. It was good. And, it was just like, I show crazy side of me, and I'm like, you know what, I'm done, I'm over, it's time to go. So, and that's how I kind of felt. And I think the main decision was when I was sitting next to Lace, and I just, I said something, and she totally ignored me, which was very surprising. And I said, you know what, if everyone is already feel like they're so into themselves and so famous, and they can't see anyone else except themselves, and they're the ones they love, I'm like, that's fine. I'm out of this. I don't want to be a part of this. So and then I was leaving, and that's when Wells went after me and just, to talk and see if I want to come back or not.
Gotcha.
So real quick, we just kind of got a little taste of Lace. What is your opinion on Lace? Are some of these people a little snobby or not very nice? Seems that you wouldn't even talk to you said?
Yeah, it was kind of weird though. When we were on Ben's season, we're not friends or anything, but we talked about different things. And then when I got to even after, even on Women Tell All or anything, we never, I can tell we're friends, but we don't hate each other. I don't think there's a reason for anyone to hate me. I never done anything bad to anyone except kissing Wells.
Right.
Jamie
but who hasn't, right?
What?
But who hasn't kissed Wells? Chris Harrison got one in when you guys weren't looking.
I think Chris Harrison did. I think he did. I'm pretty sure. Okay, let's not talk about it. Maybe next time.
So Lace is kind of mean though?
She's not, but she's, she was in her own world. But I feel like, okay, well, if you kind of ignoring me, then what is it was just awkward. It was an awkward moment. I don't know what was going on. And so Liz is a good girl. She just gets weird when she drinks, but who doesn't?
Was anybody go ahead.
What's that?
Oh no, you go ahead.
I feel like I'm probably worse when I'm drunk.
How are you when you're drunk? Because I don't know if we've seen you drunk on the show.
I want to get in fight with someone. I want to hit someone when I get drunk. That's
okay.
I hate guys. And if someone will say something, even if they will say you're beautiful, I'll find the reason why to fight.
Well, we can connect you with a guy named Chad Johnson. He's available.
So okay.
You're gonna say that.
Was anybody Was anybody kind of mean or standoffish besides sounds like Lace, or was everyone pretty nice?
Um, as I said, like I was not expecting for Carly and Ashley to say such words. Like I was surprised. Even after like leaving, we had few interviews for Glamour magazine and something else, and they asked me questions like Ashley using a lot of makeup and things like that. I was like, every single girl uses a lot of makeup. You're on the TV, absolutely, you would do that. And Mexico is so hot, like obviously, like you want to look good, and so anything, no matter what they asked me, it was like there was nothing negative that I actually said towards her. So I was very surprised, and I'm really hoping there will be one day when I'm actually going to see her and there's no way I'm going to stay on the side. Like, I don't know if I'm going to hit her.
It depends on if you're drinking or not, right?
I will definitely say something.
Have a couple drinks and then see what you do.
Yeah. I will turn that in my European trashy side.
Tell her I'm not Eurotrash, then grab her hair and slam it into a table or something.
You guys going to be around. I need your support.
We support you 100%. We want to ask this. We don't know if you can say or not, but we talked to some people, and apparently people were given different incentives, different offers, monetary offers to come to Paradise. Was yours very substantial?
I think we all got like, there's so many guys that want to. You should definitely do this. Like, are you talking about that? Like, or you should go there because there's this guy who's waiting for you? Is that what you guys?
Yeah, how'd they try and get you on the show, and did they pay you a certain amount to be on the show?
I can't really talk about that.
Okay.
So I can. It's not even about like the contracts that we have or anything. It's just very my personal thing. I have even like my friends asking me, and I said, you know what? I'm sorry. There's something that some of my really close friends don't even know how much, if they do or they don't do. What do they cover? Do they cover this or not? What about food? Like so many people ask so many weird questions. They say, you know what? Has nothing to do with you guys. It's my life. So I would probably prefer not to talk about it. But with saying things like how did they, obviously any of us can say no. If someone's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it, I went there and this and that happened and producers promised me this, well, you can't really blame producers for some things because like, it's a reality show. There's always drama. Things not going to just be like you went there and you met your Prince Charming, you got married or you got engaged and you left. Things going to be different. Yeah. So what you sign up for. I wish in my case, like I was pretty happy with everything the way it turned. I just wish it was a little bit earlier, not by the end of the season, because it was just really hard. And I do believe it is possible to meet someone on the show. I do agree. And when people say, I was like, how is it even possible? They've known each other for only 3 weeks. You got to remember those 3 weeks you spend with that person 24/7. Right. In real life, there's no way you see your, if you're dating someone, maybe you guys see each other once or twice a week. You both work or school or kids or married or, there's so many things. So there you spend 24/7. You get to know someone way faster than it happens in real life. So I think it is possible.
That's very interesting. And I'm just curious, just randomly popped into my head. Were you hoping when you got to Paradise that, I don't know, Ben Z would be there?
Why everyone is always asking me about Ben Z?
I don't know. I have a strong feeling based on some intel that I got. He is the guy you dated for 3 months.
No, there's no way.
Oh, come on.
Bad intel.
Wow, I guess I got some bad intel then. I got to talk to my people. All right. Okay, you ready for... This has been a great interview. You ready?
I wish, right?
Oh, you're a little actress, aren't you? I do not like this ending at all. I wrote a speed round for you where I just ask... Are you ready for the speed round, Ian? Do you have anything else you want to ask?
No, go for it, man. Let's get into it.
Okay, so Shoshana, I'm just going to ask you, this or this, and you tell us your choice. First thing to pop into your head, we'll go as quickly as we can, okay? Ready?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, beer or liquor?
Beer.
If you had to do liquor, vodka or tequila?
Tequila.
Outdoor activities or indoor activities?
Outdoor.
Okay, so first date, movie or a hike?
Hike.
Skydiving or bungee jumping?
Skydiving.
Luke or Nick?
Ooh.
The correct answer is Luke. Okay, good.
Good answer.
Lauren H or Lauren B?
Lauren H.
Better host, Chris Harrison or Steve Harvey?
Neither one.
Nice, good answer. Okay, Rocky Balboa or Ivan Drago?
Rocky.
Woohoo, safe answer. Chad. Okay, Chad or someone with a brain?
Chad.
Nice. E&G podcast.
He's a real person. Someone with a brain. I don't even know who it is.
Okay, interesting the way you interpreted that. Okay. Okay, this is the last question. First thing to pop into your head, E&G podcast, Ian or Jeff?
Both.
Oh, perfect. Wow, you nailed that round. That was
I was
very
gonna say
good.
that was a good answer. Congratulations on that. One thing too, Shu, that we wanted to ask you before we let you out of here is about Nick. So we just kind of made a little joke about it, but you had a chance to interact with him a bit, right, when you were in Paradise. What was your thought on Nick? This was definitely a redemption story for him. I think everybody sees that now that he's officially the Bachelor. But did you think he was there for the right reasons? You mentioned that you're friends with Jen, who had obviously a really tough breakup with Nick in Paradise.
I think he was there for the right reason. With him and Jen, I was in shock. We were snapping, and I told her that, I'm like, I was in shock. Like, I couldn't believe, because I know we were in Vegas, and I know they were FaceTiming and talking and, messaging. And it was kind of a shock, to see that and it was in such a short time too. I know it was painful for her, but I also know Jen is such a strong girl, and even if he would propose, I can't guarantee, but I feel like she would say no anyway, because she's very classy and she's very mature girl, and she knows what she wants from life. And with Nick, I think he's still kind of wondering. Even though seeing both of them on the show, I feel like he changed a lot because of her. But at the same time, I don't like when people try to change and be someone else, because then they actually not being themselves. So
Exactly.
it was painful to watch. I love Jen, and I feel like she did deserve someone better. Not saying that Nick is not someone good. I just don't feel like they are a good match.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Fair enough. So I know that people can get in touch with you on your Instagram. You guys were just recently out, you and a bunch of the other women from the show, out in Vegas, right? If I'm not mistaken, having a good time. Is there anything, Shu, that you wanted to promote or just talk about? This is your time to connect with our listeners and direct them to follow you on social media and everything like that.
Can I just say thank you to everyone? It's like, I'm not, like, I am on social media. I'm very, I love to do a lot of outdoorsy things. I don't know if you guys ever watch my Instagram pictures. From kickboxing to hiking, climbing, and different things. But I just want to thank everyone for their support, and especially after Bachelor in Paradise. It was amazing. Like, I'm not a Twitter girl, and just seeing how people were supportive and just attacking Ashley I, which was the right thing to do. Thank you. So, yeah, it was just, I'm such a happy person, and I like to keep negativity way far, far, far away from me, and just look forward, look up, and just smile every day, and enjoy life.
Perfect. Well, we love
I know
that
it's
about
boring. I know
No,
it's
That's not
very
boring. That's great.
That's good though, right? Like that's a genuine reply, and we'll make sure to pull down your Instagram and your Snapchat. We'll include that in our show notes. So if people do want to keep in touch with you, they can certainly do that. But thank you so much for taking some time and joining us on the ENG podcast. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shushanna. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, one last thing. On Instagram, make sure to check out and follow our friends at Bachelor_Nation, who we've teamed up with along with our sponsors to run giveaways and upcoming promotions, which include Skype dates with previous contestants. Thanks so much for listening. Today's episode of the ENG podcast is sponsored by our good friends at Clothing by Owl. All you Bachelor fans will recognize this name as they are the company behind the hugely popular Wine Bachelor and Yoga Pants tank top. What you may not know is that they give back a percentage of every item sold to Animal Rescue, and that notable Bachelor alums like JoJo Fletcher, Caitlin Bristow, Lauren Bushnell, Ben Higgins, and Nick Vale are all huge supporters. We're happy to offer our listeners 20% off when you visit clothingbyowl.com. Simply add the discount code ENG, that's EANDG, to save on all your Bachelor gear. And be sure to follow them on social media at Clothing by Owl.
Jeff and I are doggy dads, which is why we're so excited to be partnering with our newest sponsor, Puppies Make Me Happy. They have a super simple mission to make the happiest clothes on earth, which they do. And we know our listeners will love this brand just as much as we do. Plus, we're excited to help spread a little happiness ourselves by offering listeners 20% off all merchandise by using discount code ENG. That's EANDG at checkout. Make sure to follow them on Instagram at Puppies Make Me Happy.
Joe, 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 Joe,